Hello? There we go, lights. Alright, hello people watching that probably aren't. This is an introduction to, not an introduction, a guide to how I make my boffer blades, what I consider the best way to make a boffer blade. It'll look something like this. Just unsheath it real quick. This is what the finished product will look like, your blade. And I will not be teaching you how to make the tips because that's really differs depending on what foam you have available to you. I'll probably make a second video detailing that. But it'll look something like this, depending on the size of your blade, obviously, whether it's curved or not, and the handle. So, without further ado, let's get started. First things, materials. The first thing you'll need is something like this, whatever your blade is going to be attached to. And if, for your blade, it should be at least, 3 inches, otherwise you should just use a different blade design. I don't know why you'd be making a 3-inch sword, but whatever. You want your blade, whatever you're attaching it to, your core, to already have the guard and the handle, if it's going to have either of those. This is not going to have a guard. Oh, I dropped it. It's going to be a dirk. It might have a tiny guard, but it will just probably be a different color of tape attached to the blade. It won't be an actual guard, because I'm not going to block very much with it. It's just kind of a secondary. But you want to have that. You don't need to have it taped. You probably don't want to have it taped because you will be putting more tape over it to affix the blade. But if you do not have this, you cannot be making blades, so go do that. Bye. If you're still here, then you're smart and you made your blade. For materials for the blades, you're going to need several different kinds of tape. The first one is duct tape. It's, just this is, you're going to need multiple kinds of duct tape. This is just to secure the blade, different parts of the blade, the sides and the thing to the actual core, to this. So, you'll need that. It doesn't matter what color it is, it won't be showing. You'll also need some electrical tape, which is probably what you're going to use the handle for, but that's something else. This helps. I like to use this for the edges of the blade just because it's a little bit softer. It's not quite as rigid and stiff and thick and heavy as the other duct tape, so it hurts a little bit less. And finally, you need whatever you're going to cover your blade with, and this should be used. You don't need too much, but it's going to cover your blade. I like to use the silver stuff. It's metallic, it's shiny, it looks cool. But if you wanted to make your blade tie-dye, you could do that. I don't know why you'd want to, but you could. Secondly, you're going to need your foam, and, this is the blue foam I like. It's blue foam, obviously. You get it at Walmart. It's really easy to find. It's blue, it's foam. It's sold at Walmart, $7, It looks like this. Comes in a package for camping. See if I can get it under the camera. Yeah, you can see that. That's what it looks like. $7. Buy some. It's really awesome. And finally, you'll need this. This is going to be the edge of your blade. It's a rubber foam weather seal. You want it to be 3/8 wide, 5/16 thick. It doesn't matter how long you will be cutting it. And you could use a substitute, but this stuff is softer. It's easier to cut. It's really easy to work with. It's basically this is the secret to my blades, this stuff. It's what makes them, for me at least, from my experience, the best. This is what the stuff looks like out of the package. You will also need scissors to cut the foams. You could use a knife, but scissors is easier. A marker to draw whatever your blade is going to look like. And you will need a straight edge ruler. Oh, sorry about the noise. The generator just kicked on. Straight edge ruler, yardstick, something that has numbers on it, inches that you can measure with, and to draw straight lines. You could use measuring tape, but you will also need some kind of board or something to draw straight lines. Alright, to get started, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your core and measure out however long, I just hit my light with my thing, your blade is going to be. And it should be exactly the same length as your core. And mine appears to be exactly, well, almost 11.5 inches, and I'll probably cut that down. You can, if it's not exact an inch that you can measure, you just eyeball it a little bit, and it's better to be longer than shorter. So that's your length, remember that. And then you want to find out how wide your blade is going to be. Now, to add that up, I want my blade to be about 1.5 inches in width, maybe 1 3/4 inches. So you would take this, and you want to add this stuff. This fiberglass is about 1/4 inch thick. This stuff is 1/4 inch, and you'll be using 2 of it. And it comes down a little bit, but it's mainly 1/4 inch, so that's 1/2 inch. So you want these pieces to be about a little bit less than 1/2 inch, probably about 3/8. And about the length of the blade. Oh no, the generator just kicked on, the big one. Crap, that's going to make this not good. Oh well. So, cut that. And it's sometimes easier to just eyeball it, but I have this really, really nice piece of foam here, so I can just measure 11 inches off here. And since they're going to be so small, like this blade's not going to be thick at all, you can just kind of cut it and eyeball it. Sorry, this is a bit boring. I am shooting this on my iPod, and you know, I can't exactly do, I don't personally know how to do time stops and such on one of those. And then you will cut this in half, and this is going to be your edge, the edge of your blade. This is what will be doing most of the striking, unless you're an idiot and you like to hit people with the flat of your sword. You'll get two pieces like this. They should fit on the side of your blade, like so. Mine's a little bit short, but I will adjust that later. I'll just hack off the bit of the tip. And they will be affixed like so. See? Good, good. Now, second thing you're going to need to do is tape these to your blade. So take this good stuff, this duct tape, get a length that's approximately the same length as your, whatever your blade is, and rip it in half. And, you know, you want to use as little tape on your blade as possible, just because it makes it lighter and it makes it safer, because you have more foam with less layers of tape. And save those two pieces, and now take another piece of duct tape, just a little bit, you know, doesn't matter exactly how big, and you want to tape these on something like this. Doesn't have to be exact. Don't follow my directions exactly to the length of tape. That would be stupid. Tape them on. Oh, sorry, that's not the camera. I'm shooting this with an iPod again, so it's kind of messy. Whoop, wrong piece. I cheated a bit there on the other side. And this is not going to be the main security. You're just kind of taping this here before you can tape on the other stuff, because it's harder to get it perfect. See? Something like this, and again, this will be chopped off. I'm just trying to fix this for you to make this simple. I'll cut that off in a minute or so. Now, take your long strips of tape, like so, and fix them down the center. The fuller, I guess you'd call it. Actually, no, a fuller is a groove in the blade. You don't call it a fuller. I'm an idiot. Don't quote me on this. Oh, yes, the generator turned off. Sweet. And tape it down. You want it to be secure. This is what's mainly holding your blade to your core, is this tape right here. Obviously, the silver tape will help once you finish it, but this is the main thing right here. Push down, get it so it has a nice groove there. Doesn't matter if your tape's a little bit too long, it's not that big a deal. There, now you have like this. The next thing you're going to do is take something that's the same length, but a little bit thinner. You can go about the same size as whatever your duct tape was, and cut something like that. So, you know, you can start out. That seems about right. And this doesn't have to be a perfect measurement. This is going to cover the side of your blade. It's what's going to cover this, so that if you do hit someone with the side, it won't be just bare fiberglass, because that hurts. End up with something like this. It should cover. And now, this is a trick I learned that it makes it so much easier, because before I would cut a groove and slash that on, but now I realized, why don't I just cut it in half? So you take your thing, your foam, and you just kind of slowly, carefully, and this can take a while. Take it slowly. If you do this wrong, you'll be screwed. Just slowly, carefully cut it in half. This is why scissors are helpful. Doing this with a knife would be a nightmare. You could do it, but I personally never have, and I don't want to, because I have these amazing scissors. and just cut it in half. And this is why making knives I love much more than making swords, because when you make a sword, it's usually twice as thick. And now you have something like this, and it should cover approximately this. Actually, you make it the same length. You want it to cover the side, and it will look something like this. Now, you take your electrical tape. You could use duct tape. I prefer electrical tape because it's both smaller. You don't have to rip it as much. It's lighter than duct tape, although in this small, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. And it's softer. And you just tape it in a few places just to tape it to the side. And you want the foam side. When you have it, you'll cut it, and it'll have like the inside of the foam and the outside from where you cut. And you want the inside to be facing the blade. You want the side that would normally face up, facing up. Did I explain that? I think that sounded like an idiot rambling there. The side that was not from where you cut it should be on the outside. It'll be obvious when you're doing it. Take the other side. Like so. Like so. Like so. And that gives you your edge, your sides, not your edges, your flat, the flat of your blade. Something like this. And of course, my blade's a little bit wobbly here. It's not perfect. You could snip it, but I typically just leave it. It's not that big a deal. It won't cause too much trouble. It's foam. It's gonna change shape a little bit. Now, take this stuff, take it out of its package, and once you have done that, but I really wish I could cut stuff of this out, but you know, I don't know how to edit videos. Probably I should learn, but I'm supposed to get this up. Take it, and it'll have a sticky side and a non-sticky side. The sticky side is in, and put it right at the edge of your blade and just stream it along like this. And stick it on. And be careful, because this stuff, once it sticks, it doesn't come off very easily. And so you cut, and then cut right at the edge. Oh, I might have made this a little bit thick. Oh well. Not a big deal. Makes it safer. And do the same to the other side. Like so. And cut. And make sure you peel off the white side. It's not a good thing to have. And that's basically your blade. From here on, you would neaten this up a little bit. This is not even. I gotta cut this off with something. Probably a hacksaw. Just makes it easier. I'm gonna do that real quick. This will be off camera, so I'm sorry about that. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'll just take scissors. PVC cutters will probably work better, actually, considering that I have them. This is probably not safe, so do not do this. Measure correctly instead of incorrectly. There we go. And it doesn't need to be perfect, because you will be putting a tip over this, which typically is made of open cell foam. It's another drywall, or insulation foam. Drywall. Foam that you can get at Home Depot. It looks like this. Just this stuff. Squishy. It's very useful. From here, that's basically the base of your blade. Now you start putting your covering on it, which again is going to be silver. So if you're insane and you're making a tie-dye blade, this is where you grab your tie-dye blade and you go crazy. Actually, don't go crazy. That would not be a good idea. Now, there's several different ways of taping that you can do. You want to be able to use as little bit of tape as possible. So right now I can tell, like, this is about the same size as a piece of silver tape. So I'm going to take one piece like this. I'm going to snip it in half, and I'm going to use this for the edges. And most people think taping is not a big deal. It's the easiest step. But if you want to make a blade that's not super duper heavy, then taping is hugely important to the success or failure of your blade. And, you know, I've made a lot of these, and I'm trying to do this quickly without going on and on for an hour about the correct way to make a blade, because I don't want to be that geeky. Actually, I do, but I don't think you guys would watch. I don't think anyone would watch that. So run it along, like so. You know, there's different patterns. This is my preferred way to do it, but sometimes my blade will be too thick and I'll have to think of something. Basically, you just want to cover as much foam with as little tape. So however you manage to do that is good. And if people actually have a better idea than this, please use it. Do not just take my words at face value. There probably is a better way to do this, and I would love to find out. So continue taping, and it will probably take a while, but be careful, because it's better to have a good sword than a sword made quickly. Someone said that, I'm sure, somewhere. There's probably a way. Ooh, the generator turned off. Sweet. And I'm aware that I'm doing this without putting the tip on. I usually tape the blade before putting the tip on, just because it makes it easier. And it does use a little bit more tape, but it's gone. Then you would take your edge piece here, measure it, and put that on. Don't want those wrinkles. Try to avoid wrinkles because they make your blade look not good. You want it to be as smooth as possible. Push that. No gaps. Perfect, good, amazing, great. Should make a song. Oh, that would be so cool. Imagine if you had like a song Boffer video. Push it on. Good, perfect, great. And there you go, and this should probably be covered, but I will do that. That'll happen when I do my handle. Perfect. That's basically it. That's all you need to know. Just do something along those lines. Copy the steps. Don't do it exactly, obviously, unless you're making a dirk. But this should be a pretty sweet weapon. I'm very happy with this. It's a nice weight to it. It's not too heavy, and the Boffers are always going to be lighter than real swords, so don't, expect it to be that. But the lighter the blade, it's pretty good. Feels nice enough. Yeah, so this should work. Thank you for watching, if you've watched this far. Wow, this is long. And probably make another video about tips soon.